In the early hours in Los Angeles, a troubling scene unfolded as paramedics rushed Chrisean Rock and Blueface's 2-year-old son to the hospital, barely conscious and fighting for his life. A situation shrouded in mystery and escalating concern. Hospital staff whispered behind closed doors, security was tightened, and insiders revealed that even doctors felt something was amiss. While Blueface remained conspicuously absent, neither at the hospital nor responding publicly, sparking widespread outrage online. Earlier that day, Chrisean had posted a joyful video of her son laughing and playing, making the sudden emergency all the more perplexing. Rumors swirled that underlying issues at home might have been ignored, and a leaked voice memo from hospital insiders claimed the child had coded in the ER, requiring resuscitation, news that intensified public anxiety. Amid the chaos, a raw photo emerged of Chrisean, tearful and distraught, in a hospital hallway, embodying a mother's heartbreak under the harsh glare of public scrutiny. This unfolding tragedy not only highlights the intense pressures of celebrity life, but also raises urgent questions about parental responsibility, the impact of public feuds, and the unseen struggles behind the headlines. At a moment when a mother's desperate cries seemed to go unheard, Blueface's mother, Carlisa, stepped into the spotlight with a pointed message that rippled through the internet. Sitting in her car, stern and resolute, she declared, "My grandson is strong. He's going to pull through." But where were those who now pretend to care before all this? Though she didn't name names, the implicit blame on Chrisean Rock was clear, splitting fans into two camps, those rallying behind Chrisean, believing she fought alone and pleaded for help, and others who criticized her parenting, questioning how such harm could have happened under her watch. Meanwhile, the toddler remained in critical condition, and a pediatric specialist's grim prognosis leaked to the public. While survival was possible, permanent damage was likely. The news shattered online communities, sparking tearful live streams, prayer circles, and trending hashtags like #PrayForBJR, #JusticeForJune, and #ProtectOurBabies. Child Protective Services quickly got involved, interviewing Chrisean and attempting to engage Blueface, who reportedly refused to appear in person. Breaking her silence amid the turmoil, Chrisean posted a raw, emotional live video, tears in her eyes and voice trembling as she pleaded, "I just want him to be okay. Say whatever you want about me, but please, just let my baby live." The internet's judgment paused, replaced by collective grief. Yet as Chrisean poured her heart out, an anonymous whistleblower surfaced, revealing startling new information. A viral voice message claimed access to hospital records and security footage, exposing troubling evidence on the child's skin and clothing, traces of an unknown chemical substance that explained the hospital's lockdown and CPS's constant presence. Theories flooded social media. Was the child accidentally poisoned? Or worse, a victim of neglect? Fans scoured Chrisean's videos for clues: open containers, pills, and hazardous items in the background. A pop culture blogger shared alleged messages from an ex-nanny describing a chaotic home environment riddled with dangers and ignored warnings. Celebrity voices joined the chorus. Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B expressed sorrow and called for protection and structure, while Snoop Dogg reminded the world, kids come first. No excuses. Blueface, by contrast, faced harsh backlash for his apparent indifference, posting from the studio, laughing and recording, brushing off fans' concerns with a smug "that's handled." His absence deepened public outrage, as many saw a stark contrast between Chrisean's visible anguish and his emotional detachment. Then came the heart-wrenching leak of a private phone call between Chrisean and her sister, where her sobbing confession revealed overwhelming exhaustion and guilt. "I didn't mean for this. I was just tired. I turned away for a second, and then he wasn't breathing." Her sister's gentle reprimand. "You needed help. I told you to slow down." Cut through the noise, shining a spotlight on the often invisible burden of young motherhood under relentless public judgment. The invisible toll of burnout and isolation. The conversation shifted, sparking empathy and calls for mental health awareness amid the chaos. Advocates emphasized the need for community support for young mothers under pressure, while critics held firm that exhaustion did not excuse neglect. A previously unaired reality show clip further revealed Chrisean's vulnerability as she admitted, "I don't even know if I'm doing this right. I be trying, but sometimes I just want to run." A haunting glimpse of a mother silently struggling long before tragedy struck. As the world absorbed this painful narrative, hospital insiders leaked texts indicating troubling neurological findings from recent scans, with doctors warning that the long-term effects remained uncertain, but increasingly bleak. The story remains a raw, unfolding tragedy, a stark reminder of the complex intersection of celebrity, mental health, parental responsibility, and public scrutiny. The heartbreaking possibility that this toddler might suffer permanent brain damage sent shockwaves through every corner of the fan community, shifting the conversation from what happened to what lies ahead, an uncertain future no one could yet predict. Within hours of the leaked audio and grim medical updates, social media ignited with a whirlwind of raw emotion. Grief, anger, sympathy, and disbelief all collided in a chaotic storm. On Twitter, fan accounts shared tender montage videos of Chrisean's son, capturing his innocent smiles and carefree moments set to soft piano melodies with captions pleading, "Stay strong, baby. You didn't deserve this." Meanwhile, Instagram comment sections became battlegrounds of support, with messages rallying behind Chrisean. "You're not alone. We saw the signs. Motherhood doesn't come with instructions, but your love shines through." But Blueface's social media told a starkly different story. His posts, featuring shirtless selfies and cups of lean, sparked furious backlash. Comments demanded, "Delete this. Be a father. How can you ignore your son's crisis?" The condemnation was immediate and unforgiving. Soon, celebrities joined the outcry. New mom Keke Palmer reposted fan messages with a heavy heart. Jaden Smith urged responsibility before it's too late, and Boozy condemned neglect masked by bravado. Even love and hip-hop stars like Erica Mena and Yandy Smith spoke out, acknowledging the impossible standards placed on mothers, but reminding the public that a child's well-being must come first. Amid the chaos, a deeper conversation emerged, led by activists and mental health advocates, spotlighting the postpartum crisis. Chrisean's story transcended celebrity gossip. It became a painful reflection of how young mothers can be isolated, overwhelmed, and ignored in their darkest moments. A viral TikTok thread captured this sentiment. "We laughed at her tears, memed her breakdowns. But now a child's life hangs in the balance. Let's not let this happen again." The video amassed over 1 million likes. Mothers shared duets of Chrisean's struggles alongside their own, creating a raw and honest movement that resonated deeply. Accountability quickly became the centerpiece of public discourse, especially focusing on Blueface, whose past words resurfaced in a way that fueled widespread outrage. An old interview clip circulated widely, capturing him dismissing the idea of full-time fatherhood, asserting that as long as his child's financial needs were met, his role was effectively fulfilled. This casual remark ignited a firestorm across social media, where fans and critics alike vehemently rejected the notion that parenting is merely transactional. The consensus was clear. Fatherhood is far more than writing checks. It requires active presence, emotional investment, and unwavering support. Many expressed deep frustration and disappointment at Blueface's apparent detachment during one of the most critical moments of his son's life, contrasting sharply with the loud, often aggressive persona he displayed online during numerous public disputes and social media beefs. Blueface's absence painted a picture of emotional unavailability and neglect, intensifying calls for him to step up and take responsibility. Meanwhile, Child Protective Services (CPS) made an official announcement confirming that they had launched a thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding the child's condition. Their statement, measured yet firm, underscored that the child's safety was their utmost priority. CPS pledged to carefully examine every aspect of the case, from the home environment to the care provided by both parents and any others involved. This development added a new layer of gravity to the situation, signaling that authorities were taking no chances and were prepared to intervene if necessary to protect the child's well-being. The confirmation of CPS involvement galvanized public opinion further, with many seeing it as a crucial step toward ensuring the child's protection amid swirling accusations and questions. Simultaneously, the hospital managing the child's care offered a cautiously worded update that underscored the precarious nature of his condition. While the child was described as stable, his illness remained serious, and doctors revealed they were investigating signs of potential exposure to a harmful substance. The hospital's communication was deliberate, carefully avoiding definitive labels such as abuse or accident, leaving room for multiple interpretations while maintaining transparency about the ongoing medical concerns. The use of the term pending when discussing the child's condition and the cause of his injuries carried a powerful dual meaning. On one hand, it acknowledged the uncertainty and the need for further testing and evaluation. On the other, it preserved a fragile thread of hope that the worst outcomes might be averted, that there might still be time for healing and recovery. For the child's family, supporters, and the wider public, pending became a word heavy with both dread and anticipation, encapsulating the tension of waiting for answers that could determine the child's future. Together, these developments, Blueface's public accountability issues, CPS's formal involvement, and the hospital's cautious medical updates painted a complex and urgent picture. This was no longer just a story of personal tragedy or celebrity drama. It was a multifaceted crisis involving legal, emotional, and medical dimensions. It called for justice, compassion, and, above all, a commitment to the child's welfare. As the investigation progressed, eyes remained fixed on every new piece of information, every statement, every action from those involved, knowing that the child's fate, and perhaps broader lessons for society, hung in the balance. As tests continued and the public anxiously awaited updates, an insider ominously warned, "This isn't over." Then, in a jaw-dropping turn, news came not from social media or hospital corridors, but from a courtroom. A sealed family court document leaked, revealing that Chrisean had filed an emergency petition for sole custody, citing ongoing dangers from environmental neglect, lack of paternal support, and risky living conditions. The filing confirmed that a full investigation was underway, with a hearing set within days. The story morphed from private turmoil to a high-stakes legal battle that could determine this child's entire future. Adding to the tension, a grainy neighbor's doorbell camera clip surfaced, time-stamped 2 nights before the emergency call. In the footage, Chrisean appears frantic, rushing outside with her baby, visibly panicked, and speaking urgently on the phone. Another piece in this tragic, unfolding puzzle that's capturing the world's attention and demanding answers. What sent chills through the public was the faint, dismissive voice of a man in the background of that frantic night. Not Blueface, but someone else, perhaps a friend or a family member, casually saying, "Just chill. You don't have to take him in. It's probably just gas." That single phrase shattered any illusion of support. How many times had Chrisean's instincts been brushed aside? How many warnings had been ignored, reducing her fears to nothing? The reality hit hard. This baby might have lost his life because those closest kept minimizing her concerns. Now the questions swirled like a storm. Who was that voice? Why did it take a near tragedy for anyone to finally listen? Would Blueface step up and fight for custody, or would he vanish like he had before? As public sympathy swayed decisively toward Chrisean, a shift occurred. People began to see her not as a reality star or a headline, but as a mother, desperately battling through chaos to protect her child. Meanwhile, the hospital cautiously shared an update that brought a flicker of relief amidst the storm. The child had stabilized enough to breathe without mechanical assistance. It was a critical milestone, one that offered hope in an otherwise grim situation, yet the celebration was tempered by the harsh reality that the damage already inflicted on the young body was significant and potentially irreversible. The physical consequences were clear and undeniable, casting a heavy shadow over any optimism. Medical experts, including neurologists, were now gearing up for a long, arduous process of assessment and care. The road ahead would require months, perhaps years, of close monitoring to understand the full extent of the child's brain injury. Every scan, every test could reveal new challenges, shaping the trajectory of his recovery or long-term support. The uncertainty was a cruel companion, leaving family and fans alike in a painful limbo between hope and fear. But the hospital's update also underscored a deeper, more complex reality. Beyond the medical facts lay emotional wounds just as deep, if not deeper. Developmental specialists and child psychologists were brought in to help navigate the fragile path toward emotional healing. They understood that trauma at such a young age, compounded by chaos and public scrutiny, could have lasting psychological impacts. Their role was not only to support the child, but also to guide the family through a healing process fraught with anxiety, grief, and the impossible weight of what-ifs. This unfolding tragedy, however, extended far beyond hospital walls. What initially appeared as a medical emergency was swiftly morphing into a heated legal battle. The stakes were enormous, and the spotlight on Chrisean and Blueface had never been more intense. Chrisean's team, seemingly prepared for the long fight ahead, hinted at more